What if I told you there are cars out there so well built that the people who professionally complain about cars for a living literally had nothing to complain about? I'm talking zero issues, not a few minor problems. Zero. Consumer Reports tested these 6 machines and basically said, yeah, we tried to find a flaw and our clipboards came back empty. Now, I know what you're thinking. Impossible. Every car breaks eventually. And normally, you'd be right. But these 6, they didn't get the memo. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might just cancel that appointment with your mechanic and your therapist. So let's start with the Mazda 3. And right away, I have to warn you about something. This car has a dangerous side effect. Once you drive one, every other car in its price range suddenly feels like it was assembled by someone who really wanted to be doing literally anything else. That's the Mazda 3 problem. It ruins you for ordinary cars. And the wild thing is, it doesn't cost a fortune to get that feeling. Mazda somehow figured out how to make a compact car that drives like it's wearing a tailored suit, while everyone else showed up in sweatpants. The steering is sharp, the cabin is hushed, the materials feel like they wandered in from a luxury brand and forgot to check the price tag. You sit inside one of these and your brain genuinely struggles to accept what you paid. But looking nice and feeling premium is one thing. The reason this car earns its spot on the list about being nearly flawless is what's happening underneath all that style. Because Mazda made a decision years ago that turned out to be quietly genius. While most of the industry went sprinting toward tiny turbocharged engines and complicated tech to chase fuel economy numbers, Mazda mostly said no thanks and stuck with naturally aspirated engines that have been refined to an almost ridiculous degree. Fewer turbos, fewer high-pressure components, fewer things spinning at the speed of a jet engine waiting to fail. Their Sky-active engines are the kind of mechanical simplicity that mechanics secretly love, because there's just less drama happening in there. That's a huge part of why these cars keep showing up with reliability scores that make rival brands a little uncomfortable. The transmissions are conventional automatics too, not the experimental stuff that tends to throw tantrums after a few years. It's almost old-fashioned engineering, and that's exactly why it lasts. Now, I'd be lying to you if I said it was perfect in every single way, and you came here for honesty, not a sales pitch. So here's what you actually need to keep an eye on. That gorgeous interior comes with a trade-off. The Mazda 3 is one of the tighter cars in its class, especially in the back seat, where adult passengers will quietly start to question your friendship with you on longer trips. Rear visibility takes a hit too, because that sleek, swoopy design means thicker pillars and smaller windows, so backing out of a parking spot can feel like a guessing game until you trust the cameras. And while the engines are dependable, the earlier infotainment systems could be a little fussy, so if you're buying used, spend a few minutes making sure the screen and controls respond like they should. Check the usual suspects as well. Tires and brakes on a sportier car like this can wear a touch faster if the previous owner enjoyed the corners as much as Mazda intended. But here's the bottom line. When the people whose entire job is finding faults come back with almost nothing to say, that tells you everything. The Mazda 3 isn't just reliable, it's the rare car that makes you feel like you got away with something every time you start it. Real quick, before we get to the next one, if you're enjoying this so far, do me a tiny favor and smash that like button. I say smash, but please be gentle. Your phone has feelings too. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's the perfect moment, because we've still got some seriously good cars coming up and you do not want to miss them. But here's what I really want to know, and I want you to drop this in the comments. What's the most reliable car you've ever personally owned? The one that just refused to die, no matter how badly you treated it. Was it one of these brands or some random underdog nobody talks about? Tell me down below, because I read these, and honestly, some of your stories are better than the cars themselves. All right, enough chit-chat, let's get back to it.
Next up is the Honda Accord, and I want you to picture something. Somewhere out there right now, there's an Accord with 300,000 miles on the clock, still starting on the first turn of the key, still being driven by someone who has frankly forgotten what a tow truck even looks like. That's not a fantasy, that's just Tuesday for this car. The Accord has spent decades building a reputation so bulletproof that it's almost boring to talk about. Except there's nothing boring about a car that refuses to let you down. And that's the secret sauce here. Because Honda didn't get this reputation by accident. They earned it by being relentlessly, almost annoyingly sensible. While other automakers chase trends and pile on complicated gadgets that look great in the showroom and terrible on the repair bill, Honda kept its focus on engineering that simply works. The Accord's engines are a masterclass in this. Whether you go for the smooth, naturally aspirated four-cylinder in older models or the punchy, turbocharged engines in the newer ones, these power plants are tuned for the long haul, not for bragging rights at a stoplight. They're built with proper timing chains instead of belts that need replacing, cooling systems that don't throw fits, and an overall design philosophy that treats your wallet with respect. And here's where it gets clever. Honda also resisted the urge to go fully overboard with the transmission. In a world where everyone rushed toward complicated dual-clutch setups that aged like milk, the Accord stuck largely with conventional automatics and well-sorted, continuously variable transmissions that Honda has spent years actually perfecting, rather than experimenting on you. That patience is exactly why these cars rack up the miles, while their owners do nothing more dramatic than change the oil and occasionally vacuum out the fries that fell between the seats. But you didn't come here for a love letter, you came for the truth. So let me give it to you straight. Even a legend has its quirks. On certain model years, particularly some of the turbocharged engines, there have been reports of oil dilution in very cold climates, where a bit of fuel sneaks into the oil during short trips. It's something to ask about and check the service history for, especially if the car spent its life somewhere that treats winter as a personal insult. The infotainment in some generations could also feel a step behind the times, occasionally laggy or missing the physical volume knob that humanity spent a century perfecting before someone decided touchscreens knew better. And as always with a popular car, check that the maintenance was actually done, because the Accord is so dependable that some owners get lazy and assume it'll just keep going forever. It usually does, but don't tempt fate. Still, when you add it all up, the Accord remains one of those rare machines that earns near-perfect marks because it has quietly mastered the one thing that actually matters. It just keeps going, mile after mile, year after year, like it genuinely has something to prove.
The Mercedes C-Class is up next, and let's address the elephant in the room immediately, because I know exactly what some of you are muttering at your screen right now. A Mercedes? On a list about being nearly flawless? Did the writers lose a bet? I get it. German luxury cars have a certain reputation, the kind where people assume owning one means keeping your mechanic's number saved under favorites and naming your firstborn after him. But here's the plot twist nobody expects. The modern C-Class has quietly become one of the most genuinely solid luxury sedans you can put in your garage. And the people who actually test these things came away surprisingly impressed. Let me explain why, because this is where it gets interesting. The C-Class sells in enormous numbers, and that's not just a vanity statistic. When a car sells that many units year after year, it means the engineering has been refined over multiple generations. The common issues get spotted early and fixed, and the parts are everywhere, instead of being some unicorn component flown in from a workshop on the other side of the planet. Mercedes poured serious effort into the powertrains here, with smooth, efficient engines and a transmission that shifts so seamlessly you'll swear the car is reading your mind. The build quality is exactly what you'd hope for when you close one of those doors and hear that vault-like thunk, the sound of a company that takes itself very seriously. And the cabin? It's the kind of place that makes a budget commute feel like a first-class flight, with materials and technology that genuinely justify the badge on the hood. It's a car that makes you sit up a little straighter, like you suddenly have somewhere important to be. But, and you knew there was a but coming, this is where I have to be the friend who tells you the truth before you spend your money. Luxury and complexity walk hand in hand, and the C-Class is loaded with technology, which means there's simply more that can eventually need attention than on a stripped-down economy car. So when you're shopping, the golden rule is service history, service history, service history. A C-Class that's been pampered with on-time maintenance at a proper specialist is a joy. One that's been neglected by someone who bought it to look the part but skipped the upkeep is a project you don't want. Pay close attention to the electronics and all those fancy features. Make sure every screen, sensor, and gadget actually does what it promises, because fixing them later is rarely cheap. Keep an eye out for any oil leaks underneath, and listen for a suspension that should feel composed, not clunky. And honestly, budget a little extra for maintenance going forward, because running a car like this properly is the price of admission to the club.
Do all of that, and the C-Class rewards you with something most cars simply can't, a daily drive that feels like an occasion. Treat it right, and it'll make every trip to the grocery store feel like you're somebody.
The Toyota Camry has earned a reputation that's almost comical at this point, because if reliability were a person, it would show up to the party wearing a Camry badge. This is the car that mechanics point to when they want to explain what trouble-free actually means. And here's the slightly funny part. The Camry has spent years being dismissed as the car you buy when you've supposedly given up on excitement, the sensible choice, the responsible adult of the sedan world. But while everyone was busy teasing it, the Camry quietly became the car that outlives marriages, mortgages, and several of its own owners' questionable life decisions. So let's get into why this thing is built like it was forged by engineers who took the word forever as a personal challenge. Toyota's entire philosophy with the Camry is to never gamble with your trust. Instead of chasing the newest, riskiest technology the moment it appears, Toyota waits, watches everyone else make the mistakes, and then introduces proven systems only once they're genuinely ready. That patience is the foundation of the Camry's legend. The engines are tuned for durability over drama, designed to run hundreds of thousands of miles with nothing more than routine maintenance and the occasional grateful pat on the dashboard. And the Camry Hybrid deserves a special mention because Toyota has been perfecting hybrid technology longer than almost anyone on the planet, which means that hybrid system isn't an experiment. It's the product of decades of obsessive refinement. The result is a car that sips fuel, runs smoothly, and shrugs off the kind of mileage that would send other cars limping to an early retirement. Build quality is solid. The parts are affordable and available literally everywhere, and almost any competent mechanic on Earth knows how to work on one, which keeps your ownership costs refreshingly low. But I promised you honesty, so let's talk about what to watch for, because even a saint has a few skeletons in the closet. Some older Camry models, particularly certain four-cylinder engines from a specific era, were known to burn a little oil, so if you're shopping used, check the oil level and ask about consumption history before you commit. On a few model years, owners have mentioned that the brakes felt a touch soft, or that the standard infotainment was more functional than thrilling, which, let's be honest, is very on-brand for a car that prioritizes substance over sparkle. And because Camrys often pile on serious mileage, always check that the odometer reading matches a tidy stack of service records, because a well-maintained high-mileage Camry can be a better buy than a neglected low-mileage one. Look underneath for any signs of rust on older examples, and make sure the maintenance was done by someone who actually cared. Do that homework, and you'll end up with something remarkable, a car that asks for so little and gives back so much that you might just forget what a repair shop waiting room even looks like.
The Subaru Impreza is one of those cars that doesn't shout for attention, but the people who own one tend to talk about it the way others talk about a loyal dog. There's real affection there, and there's a reason for it. Picture the worst driving conditions you can imagine. Rain hammering down, a road slick with ice, a gravel track that looks like it actively wants to ruin your day. Now picture a car that just shrugs and says, "Is that all you've got?" That's the Impreza, and its secret weapon is something most rivals charge you extra for or don't offer at all: standard all-wheel drive on practically every single one. While other brands treat all-wheel drive like a premium upgrade you have to beg and pay for, Subaru just builds it in as standard because gripping the road is sort of their entire personality. But the cleverness goes deeper than that, right down to the heart of the car. Subaru uses what's called a boxer engine, where the pistons lie flat and punch outward sideways instead of standing upright. It sounds like trivia, but it matters because that low, flat design drops the car's center of gravity closer to the ground, which makes the Impreza feel planted and stable in a way that taller, top-heavy rivals simply can't match. Combine that grounded engine with full-time all-wheel drive, and you get a car that feels confident and sure-footed no matter what the sky is throwing at you. And underneath the sensible image, Subaru has built these to take a beating. The drivetrains are tough,
The all-wheel drive system is genuinely durable rather than just for show, and these cars have a well-earned reputation for soldiering on through conditions that would have other vehicles calling in sick. It's a machine built by people who clearly live somewhere with real weather and zero patience for excuses. Now, before you go falling head over heels, let me play the honest friend again, because there are a couple of things worth knowing. Some older Subaru engines had a reputation for head gasket issues, and while the brand has worked hard to put that history behind them, it's still worth checking the service records and asking pointed questions if you're buying an older example. Keep an eye out for any oil leaks, since that boxer layout can occasionally weep from its seals as the miles climb, and listen closely to that all-wheel drive system, because it likes all four tires to match properly and gets grumpy and expensive if it's been neglected. Fuel economy isn't always class-leading either, which is the small tax you pay for hauling that grippy hardware around everywhere you go. But if you live somewhere that treats weather as a contact sport, the Impreza makes a compelling case that few rivals can answer. It's the car that turns a white-knuckle commute into a non-event. And that quiet competence is exactly why its owners trust it with their lives and occasionally their dogs.
The Lexus GS is the grand finale for a reason, because it answers a question that sounds impossible. What if you took the relentless, almost obsessive reliability of a Toyota and wrapped it in genuine luxury, then told it to behave like a proper executive sedan? That's the GS in a nutshell, and it's the kind of car that makes people who spent twice as much feel a little silly. Here's the part that should make you sit up. Lexus is Toyota's luxury division, which means underneath all that polished leather and whisper-quiet refinement beats the heart of the most reliability-obsessed company on the planet. You get the plush ride, the hushed cabin, and the prestige badge, but you also get engineering that was built using the same maniacal attention to durability that makes Toyotas run forever. It's like ordering a fancy dessert and discovering it's secretly good for you. The GS was engineered with smooth, powerful engines that were designed to last, paired with proven transmissions that Lexus refined rather than rushed. There's no experimental nonsense here, just well-sorted mechanical hardware that's been thought through to an almost fanatical degree. The build quality is in a league of its own, with panels that fit like they were measured by a perfectionist, and an interior that ages gracefully instead of falling apart the moment the warranty expires. And because it shares so much of its DNA with Toyota, the parts are far more sensible to source than you'd expect from a luxury car, and a competent mechanic won't break into a cold sweat the moment you mention it. It's the rare premium sedan you can actually own without your bank account filing for emotional support. But you know the drill by now. I'm always going to give you the honest rundown before you go shopping. The GS is a luxury car, which means it's packed with technology and comfort features. And on older examples, some of that gear can show its age. So test every screen, button, and gadget to make sure it all works as it should. The air suspension on certain versions is wonderful when healthy, but can get pricey if it's been ignored, so check that the ride feels composed and level. Look for a clean service history above all else, because a pampered GS is a dream and a neglected one is a cautionary tale. And while it's reliable, it's still a heavier, thirstier car than a compact sedan, so go in knowing you're paying a little more at the pump for all that comfort. Get one that's been loved, and you'll have a car that delivers the luxury experience without the luxury heartbreak.
And that brings us to the end of our list. 6 cars so well built that the experts practically ran out of complaints. Now I want to hear from you, so do me a favor before you go. If this video saved you from a future filled with repair bills, hit that like button. It genuinely helps the channel more than you'd think. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one, because we've got plenty more cars to break down and probably a few myths to bust along the way. And tell me down in the comments, which of these 6 would you actually park in your driveway? And did your dream car make the cut, or did I leave off the one you swear by? Let's get a good debate going down there. Thanks for watching, drive safe out there, and I'll see you in the next one.